once you have experience, you get to a point where you're allowed to break rules
Yeah,
in your
I heard that.
system.
It's crazy how, we have changed our mindset to optimize it for trading, and you learn so much about yourself in the process. Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Next Gen Traders YouTube channel. We are recording this on Sunday, January 9th. We just got done with the first week of the new trading year of 2022. A lot of changes for a lot of us, and a lot to report on the first week of the new year. And from the improvement that we've seen in literally 1 week to start off 2022, I can tell you guys that the future is bright for the Next Gen squad, and hope you guys are doing great as well in your trading. So without further ado, we're going to have a normal schedule. We'll talk about the listed and OTC markets. Then we will all talk about our trades, as well as some notes and lessons that we took over from the week, as well as what we are looking forward to implementing into the week ahead. So without further ado, Xander's going to start talking about his week. And so Xander, go right ahead.
So my week was good going right into 2022. I made a lot of changes, night and day difference, pretty much. My goals with 2022 was to come in with a risk reward
Yes,
focused
sir.
mindset instead of whatever I was doing before. And already like the changes have been like astronomical, partly because of the market, which we'll talk about soon, but also just because of my systematized outlook and approach to the market.
No, for me, this week was one of the most intense ever. I would say even like I had 6 trades in 5 trading days, and for me that does mean something for like. So that means there are some plays because I'm very picky, as you all know, like, on all my trades. So I did pretty good, like in terms of like the end result, but I still like there were still a lot of things I could have done better, and I'll talk about them. But overall, a very solid week, and that's a very nice to like have my first week of the 2022 solid one. So, and I keep doing the same thing.
Awesome. For me, I got to branch off right with what Xander said. I'm implementing a completely new system as well. As Xander's going to talk about with the listed market, this is a market of faders. And with my main previous setup needing to reclaim VWAP, that was not really working super well. So now I've got a new outlook I'll talk about a little bit when I get onto my trades. But, nothing really new except, I guess everything really new for that matter. And going to be focusing a lot more on line to line and constantly just focusing on working towards outer lines, which I'll talk about later. And so the next thing that Xander's going to talk about the listed market, and then Alex is going to cover OTCs.
Yeah, so quickly recapping the market for December, it was really like it was choppy, I would say. Like it was kind of difficult for my kind of like strategy and like approach to the market. It was kind of choppy, but coming right into Monday, 2022, the market was automatically just a fader market. Like stocks were like you could short the open, cover the close, and you would be rich. Like everything was fading. Things would go up pre-market, and then right market open, they start fading. And that's just how it's been. So people who have like an all-day fade system are really banking huge right now. Bear is commonly known to be like an all-day fader, and he's up like 50R this week, which is like
I guess right.
yeah,
Brian
it's
Lee.
yeah, Brian Lee as well. He's probably killing it in this market. It's really it's really the best market you could ever ask for a short bias trader. And even I've been killing it, which is sick because I've implemented a new system. But yeah, I'm not gonna get used to it. I kind of hope I mean I don't hope it changes, but of course it's going to change. And I'm just preparing myself for when it does change, because when it does, you gotta be ready to react. You can't get euphoria, and you can't get used to like one market condition that is perfect for you, because it's gonna go away. Like if it's perfect for you, it's probably gonna go away next week. So, be ready.
Awesome.
Nice.
Great summary.
So for the OGs, I'll just go short. Short. I mean, like I'm not gonna go talk too long.
Alex is going short on OTCs. Everybody, you heard
it. So it wasn't super great, and it was a kind of a little choppy, but definitely there were a good amount of plays. Even I think the December also ended the same way. Like it wasn't obviously not what I expected, but still it was pretty like good, and I had some trades as I said, like 6 of them. So and overall, the overall OTC market right now is it completely changed like the way you buy, like you enter. The entries are so much different than they were before. That's why some traders are like it's like difficult for them. But I mean, since I ended it nicely, that means I'm like I can adapt to this market. So it is very important because if you like stick to the one thing and do it the same way in OTC market, it's gonna change and you will just perish. So it's just very important to adapt, and that's the main thing of this week.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great job.
Should I hop into my stuff?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Let's see.
So I'll start off with my performance this week. And actually I'll show my cumulative P&L. So as you guys know from the 2021 full year recap with everyone, that was an amazing episode. I showed you guys my huge drawdown, pretty much going like completely red on the year from being green on the year, gross. But actually this is an R chart, so it shows like my real performance, because after my drawdown I sized down dramatically. I was risking $50 per trade before my drawdown, and after I went from 50 to 30 down to $15. But these are my R's, like my true performance. And you could see like this is quite a rebound. Like this is in like a week, and it's almost 100% reclaim, which is crazy. And I'll tell you why. It's because I focused on high risk reward instead of just the stuff I was doing before. So you could see my average win is 1.6 almost risk reward. Up here you could see this is like the average, which isn't that high really, but trust me, what I was getting before was 0.5 to 1, which is absolutely horrible. So I'm up 7R in the first week, which is a record week by far. And the win rate was, honestly, the win rate wasn't even good, but I'm still super profitable this week just from going for the high risk reward. So you can see this is kind of like the month so far. Pretty good, good stuff. So I'll show you guys some of my charts. So you can kind of see like
another 1 sec. Is
yeah.
it the 3-hour or 7-hour?
Oh, so let's see. That's kind of confusing.
Probably because you were using different.
Yeah, because on Monday I actually had $20 risk, so it's kind of messed up.
Okay.
So are you moving up to 15, Xander, now?
Oh, actually, this calendar is net, so 3.5 are net with commissions. So that's my net.
Oh.
And
that's
the other
really
one,
good.
The other one was gross. Yeah, that's my record week net too. Like, yeah, and that's the crazy thing. Before I had 0.5 to 1, like I said, I was risking $50 and I was making $10, $20, and it was absolutely horrible. But with high risk reward, I'm risking only 10 now, but I'm still making just as much as when I was risking 50, which is absolutely insane.
Beautiful.
I don't think it's net though. Because you see on the 9 is net.
Yeah. So that these are like commissions. This is like with commissions, and then down here that's with locate fees, which is not much this week.
Oh, actually, I like that better. How you do the locate fees at the end? I like that.
Yeah, I can kind of keep track of that. And then you guys can see like this is my record performance by far. 4R day, 1.5R, which these numbers
so nice.
Yeah, the R's are amazing, and I actually just found out about it on TraderView, and it's really nice. So
TraderView Gold for that, right?
Yeah, TraderView Gold. So hopping into my trades, like I said, it's an all-day fader market, and honestly, I adapted instantly. I think that was just because I was developing a new system in December, which shorted these stocks that ran pre-market, and then often the stocks that have like a bullish trend pre-market, market open, that's when they switch because they're long crowded, and so the long it just kind of flips, and it happens all the time, and usually it doesn't even break pre-market high a day. And so that I have a system around this where you see it broke rejected pre-market high a day. I didn't get the entry here because it wasn't confirmed yet, but after we broke support, I got a nice short off of this. Pretty much literally a perfect entry. Although I need to work on my exits a lot more, but I had a nice scale out here. And actually, you'll see in the progression of this week, I started sticking to my price targets a lot better. Just because I realized we're in a fader market, things are going to fade past your expectations. So you got to widen your cover targets. And also, some methods I did is you got to walk away from your screens. You got to set a range order and walk away. I literally was playing like my VR because I just could not look at the screens or else I knew I was going to cover. So you could see I covered before my main price target, which was down here on this one. But on the next one, I was forced to go to work at 10 market time. So literally you can see zooming in, I literally had to leave like right after my entry, and I literally bottom ticked the entire day, which is crazy. And with a range order, I wasn't even watching. Like I got home from work after market closed and I was like, oh shoot, I bottom ticked. So that's the beauty of setting range orders and waiting for your target. Ear was another one. This one didn't fade to my price target, so I covered. And this was still, I think, like an above 1 hour trade. So even worst case scenario, I'm still profitable, like if these things don't fade to my target. ENSC, this one was another just outer line short. Again, I need to adjust my exits. I need to get better at them. I'm constantly covering too soon, to be honest. And honestly, right now, like I said in 2021 recap, I think I mentioned it, I'm switching to a systematized outlook on things. And so I have about 3 systems I'm developing. I'm not widening my attention too much. I have like 2 main ones, which is ADF and also the ones I was talking about with the pre-market that have like a bullish trend and then, you know, that kind of a short. But yeah, these are kind of like my trades. ABSI, this is another important note. Do not go on Twitter before market open if you're like too easily influenced by others. So with ABSI, I had a 730 price target. You can see that's way down here. That is outer support. That is like literally the last support level. And in this market, it will hit like fairly often. So I would have nailed that 730 cover way down here. But instead, a popular Twitter person that I follow and like respect a lot because they're a really good trader, they said their price target was 8. And so I got kind of like, oh shoot, he knows better than me. I'm gonna just cover 8. But as you saw, my original price target hit, and that would have been an even sicker trade. So just trust your own intuition, trust your system. Don't let others influence you. That's an important note. And MRIN was like one of my favorite trades this week because this was the first time I traded, or actually the second time I traded a brand new system that I'm starting, which is one of the 2 that I mentioned I'm doing, which is it's a broken stock. But instead of shorting early, I used to short VWAP, and oftentimes I'm getting squeezed on that and then missing out on the top. So as you can see, my new system is I wait for shorts to get squeezed and then I start shorting. And even better, to get good risk reward, since I now have that high risk reward outlook, I am, instead of scaling like many others teach, which gives you high win rate, low risk reward, often, like I said, 0.5 to 1. Now I'm shorting and then stopping and then re-entering. So literally you can see I top ticked. I wasn't emotional at all. That's just a part of my system. Right when I stopped out, I re-entered, and look at that. And even better, I waited for my price target and literally bottom ticked it for the majority of the day. It did go a bit lower, but I'd say that's a pretty perfect exit. This was a really solid trade just because it's exactly what I imagined my system to look like when I was playing it through my head. So I'm literally gonna like put this on my wall. Like, this is a sick trade. I would say this is a trade of the week, even though like ABSI was insane. LIXT was absolutely insane. PSCV was pretty solid. But yeah, overall, this week has been amazing. I'm not gonna get comfortable. This market is not gonna stay this easy very long. You could literally short anywhere after market. You could literally short anywhere after market open, and you would be profitable. So I'm not gonna be like, I'm not gonna be like, oh my gosh, my system's good, I'm profitable, I'm set for 2022. I think I have a lot of struggles up ahead, but at least now with the system, I can easily adjust and refine versus discretionary trading where you're like, what am I doing wrong? My performance is failing. It's just your brain gets messed up when you're discretionary. So it's just not my personality.
Wait, is that right?
Yeah.
Go to the ABSI.
All right.
What
Boom.
R is this? First
This
word.
is 3.8 R.
What was your risk? I'm very curious. What was your risk on all day faders?
So all day faders is I wait for a lower high, and that's as simple as that. I wait for a lower high after a new high is made.
Okay, then how are you sizing in?
Right, I size in with a stop at high day, like 1 cent above high day. So you can see how tight my stop was. Literally like this much for this much of a fade. And since I just started trading ADF, I haven't implemented adding to winners, but I know I have a whole system on adding to winners. I knew watching this exactly where I was going to add, but something Brian Lee preaches is you don't want to rush into adding to winners because you're just gonna it's gonna mess you up mentally if you're like you're trying to do all this stuff at once. So first I'm trying to just get solid first entries, get solid exits. And then once I start adding into winners, if I added here, I literally would have gotten like 6-7 R.
Yeah, it's like my trade on ABB. I remember like, when I had those ads, and then
yeah, the ad is where
yeah.
where all the R's are. And
yes,
in a market like ADF is profitable in a market where things aren't fading, and that's because you take a lot of cuts, which is why you implement a max cut per ticker. So if I take like 3 1R losses, I'm done trading it. But what keeps it profitable is when you do win, you're gonna get 6, 7, 8 plus R. It's gonna cover all the losses, just like you're trading, Alex. But yeah, like that's how it goes.
and,
High risk reward is the way.
You said the risk is a lower high.
Yep. No, well, no, I enter on a lower high, and then risk is high day.
Yes. Okay. Here now I see.
Yep. And then add is after it breaks a major support, I reshort that pop.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I remember you were studying this. I remember trying to do, and you never had a successful one.
Exactly.
And then you had like 3 of them in one week.
Yeah. So actually, I'll show you guys my performance. ADF. So you could see this red trade and back. That's when I started ADF, and then I quit. I don't know why I quit.
Well, you had many other things.
Yeah, I have a habit.
Yeah, we don't know why you quit either.
Yeah, I don't. But it wasn't even bad. Like you could see, I was taking 0.8 R, 1 R, but making 2 R, negative 1.2 R, making 2 R. Like it was profitable. I just needed to stick with it. And with ADF, when it's not a fader market, yes, I said it's profitable, but you have to expect that you're gonna go through some drawdown. Like even a couple months of drawdown, a few months of drawdown. But once the fader market comes, you're gonna be like wildly profitable. Like Bear has made 50 R this single week, which is like astronomical. Like that's crazy. And then that covers 50 losses in the future.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think if this market like lasts another 2 weeks, he's gonna get insane R. He's gonna survive through the drawdown until the next fader market makes a ton of money there. That's kind of the way this goes.
I have a question about the R again. So
yeah.
So because this like, what if for example you had a loss when you were risking $100, and then so you lost $100, right?
Yeah.
Then the other trade you were risking $10 and you made $10. It's gonna have like the equal candles, no bars, like same bars.
Yeah, so it'll just tell you like this trade right here, I was risking $10 and I made $40. It's 4R. So I made $40. This trade, let's say I don't know what I was doing at the time. Let's say I was risking $50. I lost $50.
But it still shows
it still shows 1R. And I could change it to dollar. It's similar with this setup, but actually I'll show you guys. That's not R, that's dollar.
Yeah, I see.
because
Essentially,
I sized down a
yeah.
lot. Here I was risking $75. I took a few R losses, big tank. Now I'm risking $10 and like it's a tiny bounce, of course. But again, like R,
Yeah, art
that's the
is smart.
performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to protect myself. Like the key in this game is staying alive until you have a
It even
consistently
shows the
profitable
stats in
system.
R.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
sick.
Whoa.
Yep, it's
Wow.
really sick. Yep. Awesome.
Very nice. Awesome. Great job, Xander.
Thank you.
yeah.
Alex,
I was
you are
actually
next.
very happy to see your trades. Like seriously,
Yeah.
even though the dollar amount, but then I see that these trades are like so much better than they were before.
Like it's so mentally depressing when you risk $50 and make $10. It's like what?
Yeah,
Like
and
my
then
my
and
risk
then when
exposure before was like $200 risk. Like I was taking 4 trades a
I
day.
remember, I was asking
I
you
know,
we
that.
yeah, I
remember.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that like one loss is that's gonna like be so bad.
And it's profitable for a lot of people, but it's just not me. Like
Yeah.
I don't like it.
And now even though the
Good.
dollar amount is small, but the
Like
difference between losses and
yeah, once I size up, like risking
Yes.
$50 to make 200, like
Yeah,
that's gonna
that's
be crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now it's my time. I'll go over all my trades, but they're like some of them are very quick, so it's not gonna take much time. So coming into the week, my risk was the same, $30 risk, and I was willing to risk like a little bit more, and so yeah, and also before I remember in my in our yearly recap, I said that my loss was like $20 on average, and I wanted to increase that, so I kind of was ready for the big losses, and this week was the time when I had big losses. So I mean, I don't know why I said that now because the first trade was a win. So this was the chart again isn't perfect, but it was the first green day, and the last time it had this first green day, it had a swizzle of like 20R. I remember this, and I missed this. It went from like 1 to it had like 1, it went from 1 to like 120, but your risk was like 0.01, so it had like huge R, and I knew that when I saw this morning trigger, I knew that the R potential here was huge, even though the percent move probably going to be small, and unfortunately here, so I didn't use full size. That was because the risk was 1%, and to use full $30 risk, I had to use $3,000. So I'm not gonna do that because that's like I want to have, because my account is 3,700. So I want to have like another extra cash for other place. So I was risking only $20, and unfortunately that kind of affected me because when I was risking like less dollar amount, I wanted to make that up by making bigger R, and that was kind of funny because I told that myself when I was getting into the trade, and I still kind of like let this affect me. So I had the entry here. I mean, this was the trigger break on the level 2, but then it actually didn't break. So then I waited, then we broke, and then I started. So here was actually my 4-hour goal. But again, since I was like risking only $20, I wanted to give it more time. So here, when I was about 5 hours, I still didn't sell. And that was a kind of, I got more and more greedy. But then here I finally sold my first fourth, and then here, obviously, I should have sold everything because it wasn't any multi-day setup. It was just random first green day. But I didn't. I let the small size affect me. So then I sold everything here. And overall, the R was only 3 and 8. So it went through like to like 6.5, and I still didn't lock in. So this was the lesson learned here. And I mean, still overall, it was still like a nice trade. So like that was my first trade of the week. So yeah, the lesson here, just don't be greedy. When it hits your target, you have to sell, especially because it's not a multi-day setup. So I shouldn't be like expecting another big move to like $1 or something. Next trade was this, and I also know Dom also traded this. This was a potential multi-day breakout. It was looking very nice here, and this was the trade where I started like trying to get early entries, because before I always like waited for the trigger, but here I wanted to like get an entries here near the base, and then when it moved, so I had like bigger risk reward, and I could have like added. So, but it ended up not working. So I have 5-minute chart because the 1 minute is pretty choppy. So my first entries were here, and then I accidentally sold here I meant to enter, like add another 30K here, but I accidentally sold. Then I added them back, and it was looking very nice here. Like in my opinion, it was primed because it had a higher low here and it held. And this 3.8 was the trigger what I would have added again and then moved the risk to 3.3. But then I just had like one seller there. Like dollar amount of the seller was like $12K because it had like a few million shares, but the price is so low. So it wasn't a big, but they still couldn't take him out, and then it failed. And I got this stupid slippage. That's why I hate the sub pennies, because I mean my risk was 30. It goes one below, that's like 3%. So instead of losing $30, I lost like 45. And this was like my biggest loss in a while, but it still wasn't that big. So that was still good. Like I finally had a nice sized loss because I always wanted to have and increase my losses. So yeah, this one didn't work, but I mean, I still don't mind my entries here because they were like pretty nice entries like on the base. So still sold. Just the exit, yeah. This was another so this was like a potential first green day, and it actually did go like green on the day. After this breakout and then 5 red days, I planned, so that was I planned this the day before. I wanted to enter at the open, but then I missed this, and then I entered on the dip. And my risk was, this was my risk to 28, because I mean, this was the previous close. And if I was risking this amount, even though this level, even though this was the real support, this is like too wide, and the risk reward here doesn't make sense because he has to go to like 40 to be 3 to 1, 4 to 1. So it broke here, and then I again didn't get that. I couldn't sell here. This was a huge drop. I got another huge slippage. That was $54 loss. Again, risking like 35, I think. So that was like the next day. And kind of the thing I spotted here is, since I didn't sell here because I couldn't get executed, and this was the real support, I might as well like hold. I don't know, because the difference between this sell and this sell is like $5. You see, it then worked. And this was actually the next trigger that I just didn't even consider. Like I know my friends, some of them, they bought here, risking 29, and this risk reward is way better than this risk reward. So here it went like 6R at the top. Yeah, I didn't trade this, but so yeah, this was another like big loss. Then so this was on Thursday, and then this game, the old friend, the gift that keeps giving. So
yes,
again,
sir.
I 7 times I traded this in the past 2 months. After this huge drop, I was looking for the first green day. I had like 3 trades on this in December, in the last week of December or something, like trading to this first green day, because the risk reward is huge. Like the range is big. So I actually had another trade on Monday. On the Monday, I had a trade. Let me show you. Monday. Yeah, I had this small loss again. I got this on this wedge. And I sold for like for a $10 loss. And then on Thursday here, I saw this trigger, and I just, every time ABB does this, I remember the first day. The first day it did it, and I want to show the other trades and the other like the other setups that I missed on this, because this had so many first green days. And let me show you, because that one was like 20R. I remember this one. This one I completely missed, and we see that like almost not the same, not perfectly the same, but let me make this smaller. How do we do this? Okay, you saw already my. So this kind of like small trigger you see here was the one that I entered, and then this was the next one. This was the next one. This here, and then I also had another trend on this. So every time it has the triggers below VWAP, I know that it has a potential. So let me. So yeah, I bought. So I saw this trigger, and I was like, okay, I have to buy this, because the tightness of this risk, like it's not even 1%, or was probably 1%. But like if you like you know, if you look at this, like this risk and then this reward, and it didn't even go like big percent. This is like 15% move. But when you have that tight of a risk, and because I bought literally before everyone, and I even got a better feel here. So this was a very solid risk, and it kind of like looked dead. I even said AVB dying somewhere here. I was like, it's gonna die. But I still stuck to my risk, and then that market maker disappeared, and that STGX, and then it just flew. And unfortunately, again, that's kind of funny that my 2 wins weren't on full size, because again, to get full size here, I had to use like $2,500 size, and again, I didn't even have too much conviction in this. But still, if I could use the $30 risk, I would have used, but I would have to use all my account and didn't have enough cash or something. So it was like $18 risk, unfortunately, not even 25 or something. And then it started to move, and these cells, they might be like a little greedy because I didn't sell it 4R, but I kept in mind that just because I had early entry doesn't mean I have to sell on my usual R's, because what if someone bought here, then the R from here is like 4 only here. So I should just play it as like a big setup, because I also knew that at this point it got on everyone's radars because it went green. Everyone was watching this for a green, and then it like failed so many times. Then it finally started to work. Now everybody's gonna chase this. So I waited through all this, and that's my first sell was like at 6.8R. I remember in the chat I was like, selling first 7R, like casual sell right there. And then I had this drop, and I felt so confident because I knew it's gonna like go more, because like the hype around it, because of the range and everybody knows. So I held again, and I almost, this sell was right at the almost at the top. The top was like 88. This was the best sell here. Yeah, like 14R, and I still wanted to hold over that because I know EDB always gaps. So we got this, and then I sold in the morning on the 16 break, and then the rest into the, when it stopped being like volatile, when the volume started to dry up. And yeah, overall 11, this was exactly the risk reward I got on my breakout trade on this, like exactly the same. But here it wasn't full size, so it was like $204, risking 18. And you know, that's why people say you don't have to risk a lot of money to make a lot of money. So that's exactly what was here. So
Beautiful.
yeah, this trade like made all my big losses, even though it wasn't even, kind of funny that my two, okay, I'll talk about later because I had also another trade. So this was like on the Friday I ended, and then this I'll just go over very quickly. This was a breakout that I got another huge slippage. Like, this is huge. This is literally my risk was this, and then look at the difference. So this was 2.7R loss. This was I was literally waiting all this time, and then the last 2 minutes it dropped, and I was like sitting on my computer. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like seriously, you waited the whole day for this to happen? Like literally the last 2 minutes. Like I could have just sold here for, I wanted to swing it if it broke like this wedge, or just sell it to the close. But then they decided to dump this last second, and I couldn't get executed, like no chance. And then it went like I almost bottom ticked. So that was $79 loss. That's more like this loss alone is like 4 times my biggest loss last year. But it's all good because my wins are now bigger. So this was $70 loss, and with this 3 losses with slippages, they're in, like, if you combine them, they're smaller than my 2 non-full size wins. So I mean, I'm still up 3R on the week, 2.9. So definitely wasn't the best way to end the week. I mean, it looked good. I was up almost 3R here, but just, yeah, it didn't work. So
Do you think you should add money to your account so you can go full
I know
size?
you're gonna say that.
Yeah.
Well, it's because those, like, I don't really have a lot of trades that when the risk so like 1%. It's not always so.
Yeah.
Yeah, if 1% risk trades came around more often, then maybe.
Yeah, that's like the best time if you have like, well, yeah. So that's all. So you also have some because I wrote down, I just started doing the weekly journals like Dom does. So I won 33% of the time, and I was still up 2.9R. So that shows all. And yeah, I also already said about the losses, how they're with slippage, but they're still smaller than my non-full size wins. So overall, it was solid week. I didn't have any random trades, and that's my goal for the next week. Like the same thing. My goal for the next week is also to keep the same $30 risk, but willing to go up to 35, 40. Do my best to know the right breakup time. I said that, like, know when to sell before the slippage actually like happens, because on some of the trades, just when it breaks the risk, you cannot sell. I want to have a, well, that's obviously doesn't matter. Green week 3+R, and yeah, just wait for my setup to come, and then when it comes, I'm just gonna attack. And if next time my setup comes and I have enough conviction and the risk is 1%, I will use the whole account. But because on ABB I just didn't have enough conviction, so I didn't want to like time on my calendar, because what if some other trade came? But obviously now I wish I used full size there, so I didn't have money for ENZC trade.
Yep.
But
Gotcha.
yeah, well, that's all. Yeah, so it was pretty nice for like the first week of the 2022.
Awesome. Great job, guys. You guys got anything else before I go quick? All right. So first off, I'm going to branch off of what Alex is saying. These past 2 weeks, I have gotten my ass kicked by slippage. I've taken 2 trades. I lost 2R because of slippage. Another one was 1.5R because of slippage. Another one was 1.2R because of slippage. So I don't know why it was all happening recently, but I've been taking back-to-back biggest losses because of slippage, and obviously 2R is my biggest loss. So yeah, that's something I can't control anymore. But now I'm implementing a new system and a new process. So yeah, let me just share my screen actually really quick. So actually, before I do that, I just want to say a few things. So far in my trading, I have been underestimating how important VWAP is. Specifically, how far a stock is from VWAP, deviated. That's what short sellers use. Xander uses that. Or when a stock is over versus under VWAP for long bias traders. 90% of my entries in the past few months have been when the stock is farther under VWAP when it should be, and which would greatly lower my win rate. Now, with my new line-to-line approach, I'm basically not going to touch a stock that's under VWAP because I want to be looking for confirmation moves only. So that is one thing. I'll be able to get better risk reward. I'm going to, yeah, actually, let me just share my screen. Okay, so Friday was my first day trading my new process, so it is very, very new. But let's see. So I ended the week down like 4R, which is a lot, but I was going on a big drawdown and I lost like 8 straight trades. And as Xander said, this is a faders market, and a lot of my former setup was not working very well at all. And everything that went under VWAP mostly stayed under VWAP for a very long time. So that was just how that was. And this was on Friday. I made my first ever trade in pre-market. Reason being, because I had to leave for the entire day. I had to literally get off my computer right when the market opened. I was moving myself back to my college dorm from my house, so I was out all day. But I recognized that ABSI was the only thing that was moving. I recognized that it was in this channel right here. This might look like a bunch of lines and a lot of haywire stuff, but it all makes a lot of sense to me. And being, my first trade with my new process, I've got a lot of work to do. And as Xander said, there's going to be like a bit of a pullback period when, you're learning the ins and outs of a new system. But, I'm looking forward to that. And honestly, I just need more samples. More samples is what I need. And so, yeah, I'll talk about that after. But I drew this line at the bottom. It was holding in this channel, held support. So after the first time I held support, I entered right here, scaled out this line, scaled out this line. This was a really small trade. This was only 0.5R, first trade free market. And then this one, same thing. Literally, I got the same entry later. I will look more into adding to winners here and, selling half and then selling the half at my original risk and then, adding and then scaling out on the way up. But obviously, there's a lot of work to do with only being my first trades with it. So again, it held the support again. I entered right here, line to line, sold half right above this line at 950, sold the other half above this line at 964. Obviously, as I go into the future, I want to be able to maximize my scale out. So I would be able to do half here and half here at a little bit more of an outer line. So I would, there's a resistance here. And so I would sell out here. I'm going to experiment with one cancels all orders as well. So I can, say I scaled out half my position and I have to, go do something else and I'm still sitting with the other half of my position. I can just say, okay, here's my price target and here's my stop loss. And either it reaches that level or it doesn't reach that level and I break even. So, that's a little thing for the future. But this was my first trade with my new system on Friday. I was focused in the past way too much on diagonal lines and specifically trend lines, and not enough on support and resistance. I was putting more emphasis on trend lines and less emphasis on support and resistance. Basically, I'm going to flip flop that, put a lot more emphasis on support and resistance, and you just use trend lines as a guidance. And also, I was missing a ton of volatility because I was being way too specific with my entry criteria. Like I needed to see this exact higher low and then this exact, under VWAP, double basing, trend line and this. But now with my new line to line approach, if there's anything in a channel, I can just draw my lines and I'll be able to, pick which stocks have the best range, pick which stocks are above VWAP. And the price action I like to see the best. So there's a lot of variability with my new system. I just need a lot of samples, and I'm really looking forward to starting to become more consistent with line to line, because it's a lot more systematic. Like Xander said, it's a lot less discretionary. Like a lot of times, unless it's like a new runner, I'll know where I'm going to exit before I even enter, because I'll be like, okay, here's a resistance and here's another resistance. So I can be like, okay, half and half. But so yeah, that was basically it. This was on Friday, and that's really the only trade I'm going to go over, because the other ones I suffered some slippage. Faders market, nothing was reclaiming VWAP, cutting risk too early, just a lot of avoidable mistakes, and I knew I had to change something. And being my first day on Friday with my new system, I'm ready to go and just need more samples for the current week. So I'm going to stop sharing this really quick. And I guess my main focus for this week is, by the end of the week, proving that I can be 100% disciplined trading line to line in stocks that are above VWAP, so that at the end of next week, I can prove to myself that I am disciplined enough to add more capital to my account. And I'm going to start working my new job hopefully this week, so that will help out as well for my trading account. And yeah, I'm just excited to begin a new system and really recognize where my faults were and how to fix them, and yeah, how to go from there. So perfect, like a blend between what Alex and Xander were talking about. I branched off of Alex with the slippage, branching off of Xander with a completely new system, and just kind of like turning everything around, complete 180. And yeah, that's basically it. Just need more samples and more trades, and I should have more to update you guys with in next week's episode. So that's really it for me.
Does that mean we're not gonna see any more of those wedge break entries?
No, I will. Just there. Okay. So, all right. How do I say this? I want it to be closer to VWAP. That way it's confirmed. Because in the past I was, entering too far from VWAP, which risks it not reclaiming, and then me just having to cut my loss. But yes, I will definitely still be trading trend lines and wedge breaks. They will just be more for guidance and confirmation, maybe adding criteria. But like I said, I got a lot of refining to do. So, but yeah, I'm not throwing them out of the water at all. So, but yeah.
Nice. So it was nice week for all of us.
Yeah. I would definitely say so.
Yep, it's a great start, and I'm glad we're all very systematized, and I'm like really glad that I'm finally creating a system, because ever since I started trading, I haven't really had a system. It's all been kind of discretionary based off of what I've been taught from MIC and other traders, and it's always been, like, in my opinion, discretionary trading is very personal, because it's like your skill level of execution. And so if you lose on a trade, you're going to take it more personally, because you're going to be like, oh, I'm not good, like I made a mistake. But if you create a system, then you could say, okay, my system has a flaw, I can refine it now. Like, it's not you. Like, as long as you execute your system, you just refine it from there. It's not like a personal thing. And so that's the biggest thing for me, because like nonstop I was just mentally drained, thinking like, how am I supposed to be trading, what am I doing wrong? Instead, now I know the stats of small caps. I know they all fail, and I know the time frames they fail, and I know where they fail most of the time. and all I do is create a system around it that is super easy to execute. Now I just let the sample size grow, and I see my edge play out over the long term, and it's really stress free, and you get to do a lot of refining after market hours. Whereas discretionary trading, you're learning during market hours because it's about the execution, your fast decision making. With systems, you don't have to make too many decisions. You see your entry signal, you take it, and again, you let the sample size and your edge play out over time. It's amazing.
Can we
Yeah.
define the difference between the discretionary and systematic trading?
Wait, what?
Like, can we define the difference? Because I don't really. I mean,
Discretion is like experience. You trade with your experience. Like, oh, I think,
Intuition.
yeah, your gut,
So
intuition.
how do you call my trading?
You're systematized. Like you
Okay.
you have a set like entry
Okay, I
criteria,
see.
like the trigger, like
Okay.
you know what to look for, and you know if your setup is there. With discretion, it's kind of all over the place. Like you could tell a chart between from discretion and system.
I
Like
see.
discretion
like
is like Christmas
discretion.
tree
It's
and
okay.
crazy, and systematized is like, it's clean,
Okay, I see. Yeah.
and
Discretion is like when you feel the stock is gonna spike, but the
Right.
process is when you know it should spike based on your
yeah,
previous trades.
system is just, you're just executing. It's like a black and white. System is black and white, but discretion is thinking. You're thinking like, okay, I think it's gonna reject this resistance line, and it's like, oh, your sizing is. I mean, it's a lot more
Okay,
thinking
then
involved.
I will call. So the trade that I had this week, there were process, but the CBS when I had early entries, maybe we can call discretionary because I had like the entries were like without the triggers or anything.
Yeah, if it's
Kind of
like out of
intuitive.
your, it's if it's out of your
Like a new
system,
thing,
then it would
yeah.
be discretionary.
Well,
And
there's
like
nothing wrong with having a mix of discretionary
Yeah.
and systematic. I think
Yeah.
you have a perfect mix
Everyone-
of it, Alex.
Everyone
Yeah.
has it's mainly hybrid. Like you're only truly 100% system if you have like an algo. Like
Yeah.
everyone's gonna have some discretion. I
Right.
would say personally, like 70% of my trading is system now, 30% discretion. Like I'm still choosing like which resistance lines I like.
Mhm.
But I'm placing a system on it, so I know how to size, I know where to risk, I know where to exit, and those are like the biggest things. If you don't have a set place where you're going to enter, exit, it's going to be all over the place. Your results aren't going to be consistent, and you're just not going to be able to repeat it as easily. And so typically, like discretionary traders, it takes a lot longer to be consistent, and in my opinion, it's harder to improve. But with the system, it's clear, it's black and white, like I said. So it's like I'm trying to find like an example, but it's like a car. Like you know what to do to make it faster. You change a part out and then you put it in. With discretionary trading, it's like you're dealing with the brain where you can't take a part out and put it in to make it better. You have to it has to learn. So that's the best example.
It's kind of like systematic trading is like solving a math problem where there's only one answer, and discretionary trading is like writing an essay for an English paper.
Exactly, that's it right there.
Yeah, that's basically
it. Takes a lot longer. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And then you don't know exactly what they want for the grading and all that crap. But
yeah,
I think that's important to mention because discretionary trading, if you don't have enough market experience and intuition, it's a lot easier to trade on tilt. And be like, let your emotions get in, be like, oh, should I exit here? Should I enter here? And it's a lot easier to let emotions come in. But also, I think that all of us, come from a background before trading, as all of us were relatively like overthinkers on a lot of things. And like Xander said, discretionary trading requires a lot more, thinking with your intuition. And being an overthinker as it is, and then adding, the thinking of discretionary trading can cause you to like mind clutter and then just do something that you knew you weren't supposed to do. And then you're like kicking yourself because you're like, dang, I just screwed myself over.
That was me for the last 8 months. Like I'm a huge overthinker, and it does not mix with discretionary trading. Like I need to be a systematized trader if I want to be profitable.
And it's a good thing that you recognize that, because a lot of people don't ever recognize that.
Yeah, like a lot of people. So this is like the main thing, and it scares me. There's like, there's a lot of hidden traders out there that are still not profitable after 10 years.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I
And
know.
the
Yeah.
main cause is just not sticking with one thing and just
And risk reward.
trying different things. Yeah, risk reward is like if you strive for high risk reward, it's like there's a great blog by Lone Stock Trader. You could probably look up his blog. It's called like how to make it impossible not to make money in the market. So like how to make it impossible not to be profitable. And he basically just talks about as long as you're going for like 3-4 to 1 risk reward every time, you can have like a 30% win rate, which is like
Yeah,
pretty bad, kind of.
that's what I had this.
Yeah, and you're still profitable. So you can make it hard to not be profitable if you just go for that high risk reward. And so that's what I'm getting into now.
Yeah.
So I guess
definitely.
discretionary is like the experienced traders, they can
Yeah.
start to be. So the same thing is with with Dom when he also had that ABB breakout trade, but then he held for the bigger breakout. Because remember I sold on the smaller breakout, and then he said like beginner me would have sold from like 20, like when I bought to like he basically said my trade. He said that because that was the process trade, but then the way he just held like for 3 more days, and it was like the huge like just like held through all those days. But that was more of like intuitive thing because he had experience based on the other breakouts, and he knew that when his setup comes, he can like make a huge trade. That's why he was comfortable like sitting through those days.
Yeah,
That's
so
a good point.
something Brian Lee has said, which is like perfectly on topic right now, is once you have experience, you can you get to a point where you're allowed to break rules
Yeah,
in
I
your
heard that.
system, and that's like the biggest thing. As a beginner, in your system, like a new system, you have to either hit your price target or stop. You need to follow your system to a T. But once you have experience, like years of experience, and you know your system really well, you can break the rules and cover before your price target. Maybe you see something that you know 99% of the time that is going to be the bottom, and it's before your price target, you can cover. And that's what Brian Lee has talked about. Like you get to a point where you need to start breaking rules to perform even better. But you need to have a lot of experience to do that.
Yeah, definitely. That was an awesome about 10 minutes of just completely system oriented conversation.
Yep, that's awesome.
If you guys didn't process that, I would rewind about 10 minutes and listen to that again because I think that's a lot of good info that everybody can learn from.
Yeah, I've always known I'm a systematized trader. Like I like data. I like you know I like engineering.
You need
I
the
like
numbers.
coding. I like the numbers. It's like, but I've been trying to chase discretionary trading partly because it's what MIC taught, and that's where I first learned. And then partly because I like how the charts look. I like the idea of discretionary trading. Like it
is more fun.
It is more fun. Systematized trading is super boring. Like you're like, okay, here's my entry signal, click, okay. Like you don't really think
It's
that
like,
much. You just execute.
Yeah, it's because with system you also have price targets and you have to like sell there. But if you have discretionary, like
you're like, oh, I'm gonna take a few off here. I'm gonna lock some in.
It hits your target and then it goes more, and you're like, yes. So that was the same thing with my
lock some in.
That was like a little different because like I had early entry. So, but like if I had like a normal trade, I would have sold like at 4R, like some shares. But there I just held, and I was like, yes. So that trade was more discretionary. But if when it's processed, you're like, okay, well that's like my last trade.
Yeah, you're basically just clicking buttons.
Yeah.
You're not.
It's like I think you said that or someone said that if I think I don't remember who I was listening to, but he said like if you give your trading process to a robot and he cannot trade that, then it's not a good process.
Yeah.
I don't remember who said that, but that was like very like funny kind of like
That's true. Like I could not. I didn't even know what to call my trading like a month ago. Like I said, I was talking to my group of listed traders, and I was saying, Sam asked, so Xander, what's your process system right now? I said, I profit from small cap stats. Like that's literally what I said. it wasn't even like a system. Like I couldn't say like all day fade. I couldn't say outer lines. Like I didn't. didn't have a system.
But yeah, Xander, branching off what you were saying earlier, like you thought that you wanted to do discretionary trading, but deep down you knew that you needed a system. And for everyone who hasn't been, in the market trading realm for a while, studying and stuff, trading teaches you more about yourself than so many other things because you learn so much about like the way your brain works. I know that we all have, become, freaking I don't even like it's crazy how we have changed our mindset to optimize it for trading and you learn so much about yourself in the process. And that's when people say that trading a systematized way is boring. And in some cases it could be even more fun to just YOLO and lose money because you feel the rush of euphoria and crap. Like people genuinely say that and I don't know, dude. And that's why 90% lose.
Yeah, I always knew where I needed to be and what I needed to do to be profitable, but yeah, I just took it took so much just frustration to finally make the switch. Because after that drawdown, I was like, you know what? I'm done losing. I hate it. I need a system. I need to know what I'm looking for in the market, not being random with the stuff I'm doing. So that was the biggest change. And I can't wait for 2022. And I'm so glad that I started a systematized trading, like literally like January 1st. It's perfect. So I can see my
I guess
performance.
2020 was New Year, New Xander.
Yeah, New Year, New Me. Not same me.
Yeah, Xander, definitely like the roller coaster of trading that I know, like as you were explaining, you were finding something and then you thought that you were going to find profitability and then you found a drawdown and then now you're really finding your footing. I can relate to that, heavy. I was like, having trouble. Then I was like, oh, this is what I need to be profitable. Then I had a drawdown. That is the roller coaster that every trader like is going to go through sooner or later, some more than others. And it all comes down to how good your risk management is and why some people, they lose thousands and thousands of thousands in the beginning of their trading, or in our case, it's a couple hundreds in the beginning of our trading. So
that's the biggest thing that every single one of us overlook, that we should be grateful that we have not taken any huge drawdowns. I've talked to tons of traders and I swear 90% of them say they lost like, yo, that's not even a big drawdown. Like
same thing.
First time I lost 10,000, I lost 50,000.
Yeah.
Like we're like emotional over our $50 loss, but like that's nothing. And in a year we're gonna be making $1,000 a trade. It's really not gonna be. It's gonna be literally like I'm gonna make down my entire drawdown in one trade in a year from now. So
yeah,
and
like,
go ahead.
No.
Oh, I don't know what I was gonna say.
Okay, so I said when I was my lowest was like $200, and when other traders look, they're like, because I mean, obviously I didn't feel good at that time, but I knew that the dollar amount wasn't like concern to me because that was like a small dollar. Yeah. And others were like, oh, I was down like 2,000 or 10,000. I'm like, well, just I mean, have to use small size. I mean, even Jack and Kyle and all those traders, they had like big loss in the beginning.
Yeah, and it's great. It's great that we're performance based. Like we look at things in performance. That's why we get emotional over $100 drawdown, because we know that it's we don't think about the money. Like we don't care about the money.
Yeah, it's the same thing. If I lost $10,000, but then my average win was like $1,000, so it's the same thing as losing my like $50 with like the dollar amount wouldn't change my emotions. It's just because I don't like having bad trades. So yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
And the main thing for me to make it through and persevere is sticking with my new systems, and I need to be refining them, but I can't switch to a whole new one, because this is like the common pattern. I'm saying it right here. Like, please send me the link to this video if I make the same mistake.
And send Sam Testerman multiple MIC hats.
I swear I will send him an MIC hat if I break this. I have my 3 systems right here. If I don't, if I don't if I'm trading something completely different than this in like 3 months, like I failed. I'm never gonna be profitable if I do that.
If
Okay,
you trade something
I'm gonna
different
write
than
that right there. I said I'm not gonna be profitable. I'm gonna quit trading if I don't.
Oh,
I'm
it's
gonna
like
quit.
with my risk, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, stakes are higher now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back under PET.
Oh.
Ooh.
Don't do that. Wait, so you said if you don't follow one of those three systems?
Yeah, if I'm trading
Okay.
something completely different, I don't know, something bad. It's gonna take me an extra year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe 5, 10 years if I keep switching. So
And you realize that, and now you're starting to settle at one place.
yeah.
Yep. Very important.
Oh,
I think that the name of this episode
Yeah, I know.
has to have something to do with like
How do you
definitely the
word
word system has to be
Risk
in.
reward is king. No.
Xander's ready to scream from the rooftops. Risk reward is king, everybody.
I was waiting for it. I knew that this day would like what's
Yeah,
coming.
yeah.
I was just waiting until you take one full size loss.
Yeah, that's what happened. Like I never took any 1 hour losses, but once I did, you know, and that whole drawdown was like 10R. That's nothing. Like that was my whole profits.
Oh, 10 hour and before 5. 10
It
hour
was
is a
like
lot.
five. It was like 510 or something. It wasn't that much.
Oh, well, 10 it is like but it is a lot.
It is, but like
Yeah.
all my
If you
profits,
well, yeah.
like yeah,
Well, I mean, if you put 10 hour on my chart, it's gonna look ugly, but not like all the way down.
yeah, because each one of your wins are huge. Each one of my wins before were like tiny, so like a lot of tiny wins, 1R loss. You know.
But now you
So
realized it before it was too late.
Yep, I didn't blow up.
Nice. Alex, you were
well,
gonna say something.
I'm gonna say that is the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this was an awesome episode. We didn't even have to introduce open discussion, and we were just flowing with stuff. And I think that all of us are in a really great place. Obviously, Josh, James, Sam, and Sam couldn't make it with us. Maybe one day in the future we can get all 7 of us if James would stop, whatever. But yeah, maybe we'll get all of us in an episode. But I think that we're all in a really good place, and it's great to see the improvement and the new mindset that we have going into 2022.
I'm gonna
Xander, you
start.
want to take us out?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably start YouTubing again
Yes,
because
please.
I want to keep track of this new system and everything. Like this is gonna keep me disciplined. If I make a video every week or every few days or whatever about my system, then I'll be able to catch on. Like, oh shoot, I'm switching to a different system. I'm gonna be able to catch it in the act. But yeah, this was probably the best episode ever. I swear.
No.
Top.
I know I
How
say
you
this every time, but this is like my
I
favorite
would
one.
say this is top 5 because I just love talking about systems. That's how you know I'm a system
Yes,
trader.
because before Xander would just like say it like quietly, but he was like system,
Yeah,
system,
system risk reward. Yeah. But yeah,
The confidence.
I can't. I'll talk to you all next week about my progress, and we're all gonna talk to you guys about our progress. It's gonna be great. I can't wait to see us in the next few months because by then we'll have trades. Me and Lance will have trades under our new system, so we'll be able to talk about it. So it'll be
Definitely.
amazing. I hope you all have a good trading week. I'm curious to see what the market changes to from fader to what. I don't know. We'll see.
All we can do is react.
All we can do is react.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And that's the thing. I'm super aware. I'm ready to stop having crazy wide price targets. But until then, I'll be fading to 0. See you all in the next one.
See you.
Bye, everybody. Cheers.